Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. DOJ IG Horowitz states that corrupt deep state actors in the FBI and DOJ were shocked when Comey leaked his memos that killed their case against Trump. The Gateway Pundit reports that the DOJ IG Horowitz states that corrupt deep state actors in the FBI and DOJ were shocked when Comey leaked his memos that killed their case against Trump. The corrupt cops at the FBI that protected James Comey from crimes didn't realize that by doing so, they ruined their chances of attaching obstruction to candidate and President Trump. According to the DOJ's IG report on James Comey, Comey leaked his memos to his friend, who he later described as his lawyer, which protected him by implementing attorney-client privilege. This protected Comey from the crime of leaking information to the press unlawfully. But Comey was also protected by his fellow gangsters at the FBI when then labeled the memos that he leaked other than classified. If they were labeled classified, Comey would be in serious trouble for leaking classified information. The FBI isn't supposed to let on that there are any active investigations, let alone leak evidence from their investigations. So what was the FBI supposed basis for obstruction of justice charges against Trump? One, Trump's firing of Comey, which I might add was totally legal. He can fire anyone in the executive branch. That's the president's rights. And two, Trump asking Comey to let Flynn go, as outlined in memo number 4. So Trump's comments about letting Flynn go was the basis, the evidence for obstruction of justice. That in of itself should mean that information related to this was highly classified. But Comey's memo number 4 was labeled by the FBI as unofficial business use. How can your prime evidence in a case be labeled unofficial business use? And that's a great point. The reason why the FBI labeled it that way was because Comey gave that memo number 4 to his buddies in the press. It's the same tactic they pull when they relabel Clinton's crimes regarding her emails. I mean, either it's evidence or it isn't, because they sure were using it as evidence. Here's the even bigger issue about this, though. In order to even begin to try to charge Trump with obstruction of evidence, you need both President Trump's firing of Comey and his asking Comey to go easy on General Flynn. Of course, we know now that Flynn was set up by the corrupt FBI and committed no crime related to his firing, and has been indicated of no crime related to his firing. You can't have one without the other. If the only evidence you have is Comey's firing, that proves nothing. You can probably try to begin to charge Trump with obstruction of justice if you have just the Flynn comment alone. But obviously they didn't feel as though that was enough. Otherwise, they have charged Trump back in February when he said it, but they didn't. This means Comey screwed the investigation when he leaked his memo to the press. If they tried to charge Trump with anything related to the leaks, then they have to charge Comey with leaking highly classified information. What an idiot. Which means that on day one, Mueller knew without a doubt he had no case. And I totally agree with that. I see now. And that's why the AG refused to charge Comey, because then they have to admit that it actually was evidence. No wonder the corrupt FBI reaction to Comey's leaking of his memos was reportedly shock. What this means is they defeated themselves. By leaking this information to the press, they had a conundrum. If they charged Trump with obstruction of justice, then they were forced to also charge Comey with leaking highly classified information to the press. In chess parlance, it would be a stalemate, which Trump will probably ultimately win, since paragraph 1 will come from criminal liar Comey. The classification review was nothing more than a now that we're really screwed here, how do we salvage this mess? That's why Mueller classified Comey's evidence both ways, both classified and unclassified. They would pursue the obstruction of justice charges privately, quietly, treating Comey's memos as highly classified, while their public face would be treating them as unclassified, so that Comey wouldn't be charged. That's some slick stuff. That's why Trump's legal team told Mueller, we will tear you to shreds in court. We will tear you to shreds in the court of law. And Mueller backed down. Corrupt Mueller knew he would lose. The deep state and corrupt FBI and DOJ had no case for removing President Trump. He committed no crimes, nor did Flynn for that matter. They set them up. But thanks to the corrupt FBI Director James Comey, they screwed their own coup. And I totally agree with that. They messed up by allowing Comey to get away with leaking classified information. We know it's supposed to have been classified. We know that the FBI purposely didn't label it classified so he can leak that information. And they did the same thing for Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's so obviously blatant corruption in this deep state government. It's utterly ridiculous. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.
We living on a really nightmare. We living on a really nightmare.